talk about what science says about mantra meditation, especially for stress and anxiety. And to get into the research on mantra, I want to tell you a little bit more about my background for those of you who don't know. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I have been for numerous decades now. And that is a evidence-based, national board clinical certification that needs to be maintained and so forth. So as a dietitian, I live in the world of the research study. Um, I'm also a yoga therapist, certified through IAYT and International Association of Yoga Therapy, who are kind of the nerds of the of the yoga world, and that requires maintaining that certification as well. So, um, for me, kind of swimming in this world of what the science says for yoga, meditation, mantra meditation, as well as nutrition and how those weave together. That's my professional work. That's really what I do all day long. And I love it. It's fascinating. And it's been such a wonderful time to be in the interface of clinical and also just seeing the metaphysical lusciousness that yoga provides as well. But it's a science, baby. It's repeatable, and we get certain effects and certain benefits with certain practices and so forth. So I want to tell you about, well, let me begin. The headline is "The Science on Meditation is Freaking Fantastic." Meditation addresses so much of our physiology that is really struggling today in mass, where we have increasing levels of stress, where we have increasing levels of anxiety and depression. We're eating poorly as a, collective here, and we don't spend time moving, enjoying, celebrating, and relaxing our mind. If we did, we'd be so much healthier from a cardiovascular perspective, heart health perspective at first and foremost, but also around our psychological health. It's incredible. So, um, a professor named Dr. Singh in 2022 in the International Journal of Yoga published a review paper, really nice overview of the state of the literature on mantra meditation. And it's so interesting, particularly for stress. The evidence is particularly strong, as well as for hypertension, blood pressure, which is part of heart health. Now, I gotta say, this review looked at four things. It looked at stress, anxiety, hypertension, and immune health. Okay. And all of it was positive data, the summary of all the studies that were reviewed, um, positive, helpful in these areas. But it's interesting when we look at stress, because the studies are a little bit bigger, and we've got this whole biometric um, expanding measurements that are now being done with heart rate variability, which is a measure of stress resiliency, functional MRIs which are, have only been around for, I don't know, 20, 30, 20, 25 years, where we can really get pictures of the brain and how the brain changes over time. And some of the studies on stress include both like a survey or a standard measure of if the individual feels stress after an intervention of, say, 3 months of doing mantra meditation twice a day for 10 minutes. Um, and you can really see the changes in the brain. And there are changes in the brain after this sort of practice in that sort of time period, which is pretty cool. Uh, so for stress in particular, because you can get that biometric data in addition to the survey data, um, it's very rich data, but it's all showing that we um, calm the physiology of stress when we do these kind of practices. It's huge because our nervous system really receives our lives and determines, it really is the great decider on if if different aspects of our lives are friend or foe. And when we are all wound up, which so many of us are because of our culture, things just seem more like their foes. When maybe they're either neutral or even friends, they feel like a foe. That's like a bottom line of why meditation, mantra, these kind of things can be so helpful for us. The other area that's really making some strides is something like high blood pressure, which ties along with anxiety and stress, actually. And the science is pretty strong on mantra meditation as a means of pretty significantly reducing blood pressure. So, what we're seeing in the literature for yoga and meditation, because I follow all of it, is that these practices really help our physiology to regroup, be resilient against the stress that we encounter every day. And all these downstream biomarkers, blood pressure, um, low heart rate variability, so inability to recover, um, that that fight or flight, that parasympathetic activated nervous system, heart rate, like all these different biomarkers, and which leads to weight and um, metabolic health and so on. So, it's really uh, the science is getting better, the studies are getting larger, and the quality of the studies are getting better and better. So, if you need some reason to just give this a try, not to mention that meditation is completely free. You don't need anything fancy to do it. It's just you. You can see I'm biased. I think you should try it. And yeah, and I can talk a lot for a long time about this. But just to know that the medical science on meditation and mantra meditation is getting stronger and stronger over time. And I'm so grateful to these amazing researchers who are doing these studies because it's very cool, says the nerd. Enjoy your day, enjoy your time. And if you're wondering what the next thing to do from a practice perspective, I have this free workbook, Intention Mantra Affirmation, that just brings you along to the next step of this fan freaking tastic practice. Have a beautiful day.